Negative feedback loops are something that a lot of people struggle with, especially in relationships. So if you're looking for simple ways to help you break free from negative feedback loops, you're in the right place. First, I want to give you a simple explanation of what a feedback loop is in general, and then we'll get into talking about the negative aspects of the feedback loops. But essentially, it's an event that causes you to have a feeling, and that feeling causes you to assign meaning to the specific event or situation or person. And the meaning that you assign to that then influences the actions you take, and the actions you take influence the result that you get. And this cycle continues because then there's another event, another situation, and the cycle continues. So how does this apply to negative feedback loops? I'll just give you an example to get us started because let's face it, relationships are complicated, and I want this to be as simple and straightforward as possible for you because I want this to actually help you in your life and in your relationship. So because we're talking about negative feedback loops, I'll give you this example. Let's say you do something nice for a friend, your spouse, somebody that you're in a relationship with. You do something nice for them. Their response is not what you were looking for. It's not the response that you thought you were going to get. And this leads you to have a certain feeling, probably feeling unappreciated or feeling like you're being taken for granted. Now, what happens next is the important part. You assign meaning to that based on your feeling. So you feel unappreciated, and now you assign meaning to this person. Like, this person does not appreciate me. This person takes me for granted, which then leads to the actions that you do or don't take. So when I say the actions that you don't take, this means that you may feel taken for granted or unappreciated, and this results in you doing less nice things for this person. That result that you get from those actions is being more disconnected from them. This is why it's so hard to get out of a negative feedback loop, because you have this thing that makes you feel a certain way. You assign, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you assign meaning to it, and it influences the actions. And the results you get probably isn't the result that you want. So what do we do to combat this? What do we do to break free of these negative feedback loops? I want to give you 3 simple things that you can start doing in your relationships and in your life starting today that will help you break free from these negative feedback loops, but will also just help you create better relationships in your life. Number 1 is do things because you want to, not because you feel like you should, not because you have to, not because you're expecting something in return. A perfect example of this in my own life that'll tie into everything is that during the holiday season, it's like pulling teeth to get me to buy somebody a $25 gift. However, in June, I'll buy that same person a $100 gift while I'm just out. I see something at a store. I'm like, they would love that, and I buy it for them. And this ties in because in June, there's no pressure. There's no I should buy them a gift. There's no I have to buy them a gift. It's like I see something that I know they like, and I get it for them. But during the holiday season, I'm like, no, I don't want to. I shouldn't have to just come up with some random thing because I have to get somebody a gift. And this ties in because if you are constantly doing things that you feel like you should, or that you feel like you have to, or that you are doing it because you're looking for a certain response from them, then your decisions to do those things are solely based on what you're getting in return. And if you do that and they give you a response that you don't like, that will directly feed your negative feedback loop. So the important part is that we cannot build relationships that are healthy and long-lasting based on doing a bunch of crap that we don't feel like doing or that we don't want to do. All of these things should be like, I want to show this person I care about them, so I want to do this thing. It doesn't matter if they give me a bad response or a good response. It's like, it doesn't matter at all. I want to do this because I love them, because I care about them. And that's pretty much all there is to it. But I just want that to be number 1 because I see so many people getting caught up in doing things that they don't want to be doing all the time. And the only way to sustain the relationship is by continuing to do things they don't want to do. Number 2 is feelings are not reality. I know that's a big statement to make, but just hear me out on this one. Growing up, I was always taught your feelings matter and your feelings cannot be wrong. As an adult and in the work that I do now, I've realized that feelings are more of a warning system and something to take note of, but they're not necessarily based in reality. Why this is important in terms of negative feedback loops is because we assign meaning to things based on a feeling that we have on a subconscious level. That's what happens. That's why we get caught up in a negative feedback loop. But if we can take the feeling out of it and look at the situation objectively, we can remove the negative feedback loop by implementing something positive. And what I mean by this is, like, let's say you do something nice for somebody, like in the example before, and their response is not what you're looking for. You could feel unappreciated. However, if you look at the reality of the situation, maybe they were just preoccupied. Maybe they had something else going on, and maybe it had nothing to do with you at all. And if we look at these situations objectively and assign the proper meaning, or at least a positive meaning, that will have an impact on the rest of the cycle, which is actions and results. And then it will turn into a positive feedback loop rather than a negative one. And a key note here is that if you have a situation, you assign positive meaning to it, you continue actions that are positive, and you continue to do the right things and get results, and you still get those negative responses, it's probably not you, it's them. So that's when you have to reconsider the entire relationship in itself. Number 3 is go first. And I love this one because this takes pretty much everything in terms of a negative feedback loop and throws it on its side. So what I mean by go first is, if you want to feel more appreciated in a relationship, and you're starting with a situation in terms of a negative feedback loop where you do something nice for someone, they make you feel a certain way, and then you assign meaning to it, that's fine. Because if you remember this, go first, this can help you break the negative feedback loop. And why I say that is that if you go first, you want to feel appreciated, ask the other person, hey, what could I do to make you feel appreciated? Because they may not even be thinking about making you feel appreciated. So if you ask them what you could do to make them feel more appreciated, that may click something in their brain like, oh, I do want this person to know that I appreciate them as well. So by going first, it's like you are being vulnerable. You are putting yourself out there and saying, hey, I really like you, or you're my spouse and I love you and I want to be with you for a long time. How can I make you feel more appreciated? If you do that and you go first, I guarantee that they will, if it's a relationship that's meant to be, I guarantee they will start to show you more appreciation in the long term. I really hope this episode helped you. There was a lot to go over. I could only fit so much into this episode, but I did my best to keep it short and simple while giving you practical things that will actually help you.